Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is July 12th, 2024. And Oriol Romeu has surprised Hansi Flick during the preseason. Also, Barcelona have prepared a contract draft for Nico Williams, and I have all the details of that contract for you. And finally, Ronald Araujo's agent is set to meet with the club next week. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching the podcast once it ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through that discussion. Now, having said all of that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links for kit bag and Bet Us are down below in the description. Now, let's begin with the news. I am a little bit late today. I'm about an hour late. I usually do this at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we're starting at 7:30 because I did have a lot of work. I had to finish work because I did not want to work over the weekend. So I had to finish all my work. This is why I'm late. Also, another announcement. I'm going to be starting a new partnership with a kit manufacturer. I'm going to be announcing it tomorrow. I'm going to have new links for everybody who wants Barcelona jerseys or jerseys from any other club around the world, national team around the world, etc. And this manufacturer actually creates retro kits. So if you want a Barcelona jerseys from 20 seasons ago, they have it. I'm very, very excited about this partnership. I'm finalizing all the details today. So I'm going to be announcing it tomorrow. So stay tuned for that announcement. But anyways, let's start with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, the preseason is still in full steam. Today was the third day of the preseason. We know the preseason started on Wednesday, July, what was that? 10th? Wednesday, July 10th, all the players reported to the medical testing. After that, they had 2 sessions scheduled. They only had one because Flick canceled the second one due to extreme heat. We know that yesterday they had a double session. And well, today they had another double session. And people in Barcelona are reporting, and when I say Barcelona, I mean FC Barcelona, not the city of Barcelona. But people at the club are reporting that they haven't seen trainings this intense in many, many years. We're not talking about just Xavi Hernandez, but even coaches before Xavi Hernandez, coaches like Koeman, Setien, Valverde. But people at the club are completely shocked and surprised about how intense these training sessions have been, because usually when the preseason kicks off, the initial training sessions, the first few days, are usually pretty light. It's kind of like the coach is just taking it easy. He's getting to know the players. He's talking to them. They're just establishing first contact. Not Flick. Flick is not here to play around. Flick is not here to waste time. Flick does not care about your feelings or what your favorite meal is or what your favorite color is. Since day one, the training sessions have been super intense, and people at the club are reportedly completely shocked and surprised about how intense these training sessions are. And of course, we kind of knew that because we know how Flick likes to operate. He likes his teams playing at full intensity, top intensity. And well, you don't achieve that by just, sitting around, playing games, playing tag games like we used to see when Xavi was the coach. So Flick not wasting any time, getting right into business from day one. Now, it's reported that Flick was very surprised by Gabi. They're saying that Flick had, of course, numerous positive reports about Gabi. He knew what kind of player he is, how great of a player he is, what kind of a teammate he is. But despite all those positive reports, they say that Flick has been very shocked about the intensity of Gabi, about his competitive spirit, and most importantly, about his presence. They're saying that Gabi has this presence in the locker room where even though he's very young, he is way, way more mature, years ahead of his age. And if Flick was taken by surprise by the kind of player Gabi is and about his presence, and this is the shocker in all of this, but it seems that Flick is extremely surprised by Oriol Romeu. It seems that Flick has been very, very surprised during these initial preseason training sessions. He's been surprised about Oriol Romeu's performance. He's surprised about Oriol Romeu's physicality, conditioning, and strength. And he's also very delighted with Oriol Romeu's attitude, where he's very down-to-earth, humble player who's always open for criticism, always open to learn more, always open to improve. And he is very hungry to earn a spot on the first team. And this is rare in players in Oriol Romeu's age. Oriol Romeu is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 32, 33. Usually players by that age, they kind of have a chip on their shoulder. They've played for a long time. They have experience. They're kind of like, I know what I'm doing. Shut up. Don't tell me what to do. I deserve a spot. Now Oriol Romeu. It seems that Flick is very surprised by his attitude. He's always opening for criticism. He always wants to learn more. He still wants to fight for a spot. So for now, and again, this is just for now, today, Friday, July 12th, it looks like Flick is not ruling out Oriol Romeu staying at the club because, again, he was pleasantly surprised by his performance, the profile of a player that he is, and his attitude. No, I'm not completely surprised by this news because when Barcelona first signed Oriol Romeu, as some of you might remember who've been watching the channel for a while, I was kind of happy because I always thought Oriol Romeu was, a great addition to the team. Barcelona only signed him for $3 million. He had plenty of experience. He had played in the Premier League. He came up through the Barcelona Academy. And in fact, when he first started with Barcelona, he was surprisingly really good. Him and Frankie de Jong had a great pairing in the midfield where Oriol Romeu acted more of a defensive midfielder that would stay back defending, and that allowed Frankie de Jong more freedom to kind of like make runs forward. And it seemed to work really well, but then Frankie de Jong got injured and Oriol Romeu was kind of put in a single pivot position where it didn't really work out. And after that, Xavi stopped counting on him. And of course, as expected, when a player stops getting minutes, whenever he does, he's not going to be good because he's out of rhythm. So I was kind of happy when Barcelona first signed him. I was kind of happy at the beginning of the season, and then it became a disappointment because the few times that Romeu would play, he wasn't that good. But it seems that Flick sees something in him. And look, if Flick can extract the best out of Romeu, he can turn him into a great midfielder, and maybe Barcelona cannot or don't have to waste money on bringing someone else. I'm all for it. After all, like I've always said, I'm all for Barcelona players succeeding. I'm not against any, like even Rafinha. I always say Rafinha is not good enough, but hey, if Flick can turn him into a star, hell yeah. I'm not here to prove a point. I'm not here to be right. I don't care about being right. If I say a player sucks and he ends up being great, then please, I would rather be wrong than be right about a player being bad, because at the end of the day, if a player performs great, that means the team does great. And if the team does great, that's what makes me happy. So, hey, if Flick can extract the best out of Romeu, I'm all for it. But definitely interesting news. Flick very surprised by Romeu. He's liking him so far, and the club are not ruling out Romeu staying. Remember, Girona are interested in Romeu, but only if Barcelona let him go for free. So, hey, if Flick can extract something out of him, I'm all for it. All right, let's do the chat section, and then we will talk about the birthday boy, which is Nico Williams, because lots of news on that front. Statements from Javier Tebas, Barcelona's draft contract, etc. But let's look at the chat section, because David says, Mo, we have to bite the bullet. We can't afford to have a team where the core players are injury prone. I don't think we have injury prone problem. Yes, Pedri does get injured a lot. Araujo has been a little bit injury prone. But besides that, I wouldn't say that the rest of the players are injury prone. Frankie de Jong, he's had a lot of injuries, but they've all been bad luck. None of Frankie de Jong's injuries have been muscular injuries where he continues to keep injuring the same muscle or getting fatigued or etc. All of Frankie de Jong's injuries have been due to fouls, which unfortunately in football, you cannot avoid that. The only way to avoid that is by not playing the player ever and just keeping them on the bench. So I wouldn't say that most of our core players are injury prone, besides Pedri and Araujo. Everyone else, their injuries have been pretty standard because injuries are part of the game. There's no way to avoid it. It's going to happen no matter how much you prepare your players, how great their diet is, how great their training sessions are, how conditioned they are. Injuries are part of the sport. So I wouldn't say that, the core of the team is injury prone. Again, besides Pedri and Araujo, I think everyone else has had standard amount of injuries. If you look at the statistics, the number of injuries that Barcelona has had is no different than any other major club. It's no different than Real Madrid. It's no different than Manchester City. It might seem that way because, when players get injured, it gets a lot of news. People focus on it, fixate on it because obviously it's bad news. But I wouldn't say that we have some kind of injury problem that other clubs don't have, All right, Arnold says, hello, Mo. Javier Tebas yet again speaks about Barca's finances and ability to sign Nico Williams and said that we can make that signing happening. Yes, I'm aware of that. That's going to be in the next section. Yusuf says, Mo, do you think Hansi Flick will succeed at Barca even though he failed at the German national team? I don't know if Flick is going to succeed or not. I don't have a magic crystal ball that can tell me the future. All I know is that he had a great success at Bayern Munich. All I know is that he has a clear style of play, a clear identity, clear structure for his teams. And if he can implement that with success at Barcelona, I think we'll be fine. Now, comparing national teams to clubs, I think that's comparing apples to oranges. National teams are completely different from clubs. So I wouldn't look into too much of what he did with the national team versus what he did with clubs. But as far as whether he's going to succeed or not, I don't know. What I do know is we have a new coach. We have a new project. All we can do is hope for the best, wish him the best of luck, and pray that it is going to work. But I cannot sit here and tell you with certainty, yes, Flick is going to succeed, or no, Flick is going to be a failure. I can't until I see what's going on. Once I can see what's going on, once I see the progress of the team, then you can come up with a conclusion and say yes or no. But right now, he's just arrived. There's just no way for me to tell you. And anyone who tells you, yes, he's going to succeed or no, he's going to fail is fooling himself and fooling you because right now, we just cannot say. All right, let's see. Humani says, hi, Mo. Since Kubarsi is officially a first-team player, do you think he deserves Puyol's number 5? I don't think so. I think Kubarsi is destined to be easily one of the best center backs in the world. But he's only 17 years old. He only spent, half a season with the first team. I think it's a little bit too early to start talking about, giving out numbers to players. Plus, honestly, I'm of the thought that numbers don't really matter. I know people like to give them importance, like the number 10 is going to be too heavy for Lamine. Look, if you're great, you're great. And if you suck, you suck. Doesn't matter what number you wear. I don't think numbers matter as much as they used to. I do like when certain positions are linked to certain numbers, like the number 9 should always be a center forward. I do like that. I do like that classical model. But as far as players and their performance and the numbers that they wear, I don't think it really matters. I mean, look, if Messi was wearing a number 10 or he's wearing the number 100, as long as he performs as Messi, who cares what number he's wearing? And the same goes for Kubarsi. Anyways, let's get back to the news and let's talk about the birthday boy, which is Nico Williams, because it is his birthday today. He turns 22 years old. So we wish him a happy birthday. But let's talk about Nico Williams because Javier Tebas has spoken about the player. And also, it's been revealed that Barcelona already have a contract draft prepared for him. Now, we know that Barcelona want Nico Williams. This is no longer a secret. Joan Laporta has confirmed this. Hansi Flick wants Nico Williams. And Nico Williams fits that profile of what Barcelona are looking for, which is a left winger with speed that can dribble past players or defenders. They can create space on the wings, and they can, get the ball into the box, whether it's through crosses or whether it's through, dribbling and getting the ball into the box. So Barcelona want him. He fits what Barcelona want. And most importantly, the player wants to come to Barcelona. He wants to come to Barcelona. He believes in the project that Barcelona has, which is based on youngsters. And he wants to play with his really good friends, Lamine Yamal, Kouarsi, Alejandro Valde, etc. Now, the question is, can Barcelona afford him, right? Because Barcelona could want all kinds of players, and all kinds of players could want Barcelona. But the question is, can Barcelona afford him? Laporta has confirmed in a recent interview that, yes, Barcelona will reach the 1-to-1 rule. Barcelona want Nico, and Barcelona can afford Nico. Well, today, La Liga's president also confirmed this by talking about his favorite subject, Barcelona, because every time Javier Tebas has a microphone in front of him, he likes to talk about about Barcelona. But this is what La Liga's president said in regards to Nico Williams and Barcelona's capability of signing him. He said if they reach the 1-to-1 rule, they will be able to do so. Of course, talking about, the signing of Nico Williams. You have to think that with Barcelona's efforts to reduce their wage bill by more than 200 million euros and the levers, they can perfectly well bring in a player like Nico Williams. So not only is Laporta confirming that Barcelona can afford Nico Williams, but so is Javier Tebas. And this is huge, right? Because before I used to tell you, hey, Barcelona can afford him. But then Laporta said it, and I was like, all right, don't take my word for it. Listen to the Barcelona president. But then some people are like, well, he's a Barcelona president. He has to say that. Well, now we have Tebas, La Liga's president, saying that. So it's no longer speculation. It's no longer rumors. It's no longer, they're just saying that. This is real. Barcelona can afford the signing of Nico Williams. Barcelona want to sign Nico Williams. Nico Williams wants to come to Barcelona. So now it's no longer about if Barcelona is going to sign Nico Williams or not. Now it's a question of when is Barcelona going to sign Nico Williams? And well, ladies and gentlemen, I have an answer for you, because of course it's going to be right after the Euros. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona already reached out to Nico Williams right after the quarterfinal between Spain and Germany. And Barcelona informed Nico Williams that, yes, we want to sign you. We can sign you. We will pay your release clause. So whenever you're ready, here we are. And Barcelona are so convinced about signing Nico Williams, and he's such a priority, the club have already prepared a draft of his contract. It's drafted, it's ready. As soon as the player gives his green light, Barcelona will pay the release clause. They'll send him that draft, and all Nico Williams has to do is put pen to paper. Now, what's in this draft contract? Well, Barcelona want to sign Nico Williams for 5 years. So that's until 2029. During his first 2 seasons, his salary will be inferior. It's going to be a small salary. We don't know the exact number, but we do know that the first 2 years is going to be a small salary. After that, once Nico Williams hits the 3rd year, that's when his salary goes up, and it also becomes an ascending salary, which means that 3rd year goes up, 4th year goes up even more, 5th year goes up even more. Now, Barcelona are confident that, once Nico Williams' contract salary becomes ascending, they'll be able to afford it because, we're talking about the first 2 years going to be low. So that means 2026. From there, it'll start to go up. By 2026, Spotify Camp Nou will be full capacity. Barcelona will be much better financially. And some of these big contracts that Barcelona still have with players, they're going to be off the books by then. Lenglet's contract, for example, expires in 2026, right? Ansu Fati's contract, which is also an ascending contract, will expire by then. So Barcelona are confident that by the time Nico Williams' salary goes up and becomes an ascending salary, Barcelona will have, much more room on their wage bill. You're going to have much more money. They're going to be much more financially healthy. Oh, Lewandowski's contract is another one that will have expired by then. Now, more news. We're not over. We're not done. Lots of news about the birthday boy. But Nico Williams and his agent are set to meet with Athletic Club de Bilbao as soon as the Euros is over in order to discuss the player's future. Now, Barcelona are confident that Nico Williams, in this meeting with his agent and with Athletic Club de Bilbao, will inform Athletic Club that he will be leaving to Barcelona. Now, Athletic Club de Bilbao, during this meeting, they're going to try to convince him to stay for at least one more season. And this is where the kicker comes in. But they're saying that Nico Williams' family, his entourage, even though they're die-hard Athletic Club de Bilbao's fans, his older brother plays there, Iñaki, his parents work at Athletic Club de Bilbao. Even though they're all Athletic Club de Bilbao die-hard fans, they have their doubts. They have their doubts about Nico staying for one more season because they're thinking, what if Athletic Club de Bilbao has a bad season and then there's no interest in Nico anymore? What if a season goes by and Barcelona signs someone else and they're like, we no longer want you? So even though Athletic Club de Bilbao are going to try to convince Nico to stay for one more season, his family have doubts about their son staying for another season. So in conclusion, Barcelona want Nico. Nico wants Barca. Barca can afford it, as confirmed by Laporta and by Tebas. Barcelona have already prepared a draft contract for Nico Williams, a 5-year contract. And Nico is set to meet with his agent and Athletic Club de Bilbao as soon as the Euros is over in order to communicate his decision. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you realize this, but the Euros ends in 2 days, on Sunday. That means we should have news about this signing as soon as next week. So stay tuned to the channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, because we are going to have some news coming up pretty soon. And let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Ronald Araujo. All right, let's see. Oh my God, this chat section is blowing up. I love it. Let's see. Andrew says we still need player like Dani Olmo, even if we sign William. No, we don't. All right, let's see what else. M. Angelo says, do you watch the Colombia game? I got flashback when a defender got the red card and thought they lose the game, but they handled pressure very well. It was incredible. I think that's what you're trying to say. Yes, I did watch the Colombia-Uruguay match. I think what Dani Munoz did was absolutely stupid. You're playing a semifinal. You have a chance to make it to a final for the first time in 23 years, and you go clearly elbow a player. I think you're falling for the mind games like a rookie. You are committing a stupid mistake, and most importantly, you're letting down your entire team and your entire nation. But when that happened, I was texting with a friend who's Colombian, and she was like, oh my God, this is it, it's over. And I said, no. Colombia got this. Colombia will win this 1-0, at least 2-0, or maybe 2-0, because, and I hope there's no Uruguayans watching this, but Uruguay as a team, as a national team, they don't really offer much in attack. They are a great defensive team. They know how to disrupt attacks of opposing teams. They know how to park the bus. They know how to fight tooth and nail to maintain a result. But as far as attack, Uruguay doesn't really offer much. And if Uruguay were winning, then I would have been like, yeah, they're gonna win because they know how to hold on to results. They know how to defend results. But Uruguay was losing, and I was like, all right, well, then in order to win, they need to attack. And I'm like, Uruguay cannot attack for shit. And lo and behold, they didn't do shit. I mean, Colombia got closer to scoring a second and third goal than Uruguay got to scoring a first goal. So I really was not worried at all when Colombia lost their 11th man. And by the way, if anyone knows Xavi Hernandez's address, please record a copy of this match, send it to him, and with the message saying, yes, you can hold on to results with one less man. Because remember, when PSG beat us, when Araujo got that red card, we were up by 2 goals. And we lost. And Xavi's excuse was like, well, we got Araujo red card. That was his excuse. And all his, Xavi fanboys and apologists, they were all like, yeah, well, we got a red card. There's no way. Colombia did it with 10 men. And they were only up by 1 goal. So don't tell me that Barcelona couldn't have held on to a 2-goal lead with 1 less man, because that's bullshit. Anyways, let's do more comments. Gomez Yani says, it's good to join the live podcast for the first time. Mo, do you think Flick will revolutionize the team and bring it back to winning ways? If yes, how do you think he will do it? Thank you for joining the live podcast for the first time. I hope you join it more often. But will Flick revolutionize the team? I think so. Because unlike Xavi Hernandez, I think, or unlike Koeman, or unlike Setien, I think Flick has a clear vision of how he likes his teams to play. And that's very important. In modern football, teamwork is a lot more important than individual talent. Before, it used to be who had the best players, right? But now it's more about teamwork. It's about cohesiveness, right? Spain is a great example of that in the Euros. Spain don't have the best players in the Euros. Spain don't have better players than France. They don't have better players in Germany. And yet they are the best performing team in the Euros. Why? Because Luis de la Fuente has been able to instill a clear structure, a clear vision of how his team wants to play. He has been able to give his team an identity. He's been able to get his players all to play as a cohesive unit, as a team. When you see Spain play, you know exactly what they're trying to do. And they do that time and time again, regardless of the score. With Xavi Hernandez's Barca, that did not exist. Because Xavi I don't know if he didn't have a vision, or maybe he did have a vision, he just didn't know how to implement it. But Xavi's Barca did not have a vision, did not have an identity, did not have a clear style of play. It was just 11 players, 11 individuals improvising. And that's the problem. But with Flick, he has a clear vision of how his teams have to play, and he's going to work on implementing it. Now, whether the team ends up succeeding or not, that's another different question. But I think Flick will revolutionize how the team plays. And hopefully, I'm praying to God that he brings us to winning ways. Do I know that for sure? I don't. I don't have a crystal ball, but hopefully that's what happens. Shimasi says, do we really need a new midfielder under Flick? Because a lot of players like Casado, Gabi, Gundo, and De Jong already now with Romeu. I think if Barcelona don't sign a midfielder, it won't be the end of the world. Because like you said, we have a lot of midfielders. We have Pedri, Gabi, Frankie, Gundo, Fermin Lopez. Casado just became a first-team player. We have players from the academy. They could come up and rotate, like Noah Darvic. We know Flick has called him up to the preseason training. Marc Bernal, who's probably one of the most promising midfielders to come out of the Masia in a while. We have Unai Hernandez, who Flick has also called up. So if Barcelona don't sign it, and of course, Oriol Romeu. So if Barcelona don't sign a midfielder, I don't think it will be the end of the world. But we do need a left winger because we don't have anyone. Unlike the midfield where we have 1 million people, we don't have anyone for the left wing. Anyone, not a single player. So we do need a left winger, but you're right. If Barcelona don't sign a midfielder, it's not going to be the end of the world. Anyways, let's get back to the news. This is the last bit of news, and then I'll do more comments. But let's talk about Ronald Araujo, because his agent is set to travel to Barcelona during this weekend. Now, this has not been confirmed by the club. The club have not confirmed that they're going to be meeting with Ronald Araujo's agent. However, Adrian Sanchez, who's a reporter out in Barcelona, has been able to confirm that Ronald Araujo's agent does have multiple reservations in the city of Barcelona at restaurants, hotels, etc. So it seems that Ronald Araujo's agent will be in the city of Barcelona, and it's expected that most likely he's going to be there in order to meet with the club, in order to communicate Araujo's decision to Barcelona. Now, we know that Barcelona want to renew Ronald Araujo. Hansi Flick wants to count on Ronald Araujo. Barcelona have sent Ronald Araujo a contract renewal several months ago, and for now, Araujo has not responded. He's not said, I want to stay. He's not said, I want to leave. It's expected that during this visit, Ronald Araujo's agent is going to communicate the decision to Barcelona. Now, this is news, but people within the club are confirming that Barcelona are not going to make any efforts to convince players who have doubts of staying at the club. In other words, Barcelona have sent the contract renewal to Araujo. It's their final offer. If Araujo wants to take it, great, welcome. If not, there's the door. Barcelona are not going to go crazy over players who have doubts of staying. You either stay, great. If not, there's the door. Which confirms the news that I told you, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, that Barcelona's contract renewal to Araujo is final. He either accepts it, or again, there's the door, which I think is the right decision. I love Araujo. I think he's one of the best defenders in the world. I would love for him to stay, but this is FC Barcelona, and we cannot be begging players to stay. You either stay, if you don't want to, there's the door. Simple as that. We'll find out pretty soon whether Araujo has chosen to stay or whether he has chosen to leave. All right, that's all the news for this podcast. So let's do several comments before we end. But Chunky says, Mo, do you think we should sign Mikel Merino because he would fit the Flick style as very versatile 6? We can play in double pivot. He also can chip in with good goal. I think so. I think I think Merino fits Flick's plan. He likes those more mobile pivots, someone that can cover a lot of ground and can go up, come back down, defend, attack, etc. And I think Merino fits that. Well, we'll see. Arnold says Flick is also surprised by Ansu Fati training and sharpness in front of goal since he scored a hat-trick in training. Look, there's no doubt that Ansu Fati is an incredibly talented player. We all saw what he was capable of doing before his injuries. The question is, can he still do that after his injuries? I think he will eventually recover. Barcelona don't think so. So that's, I guess, where the problem arises. But we all know how talented Ansu is. I mean, at 18 years old, he was a starter in Barcelona's first team, scoring goals and impressing. So there's no doubt about Ansu Fati's talent. The question is, can he play at the highest level after his injuries? I think he can, but Barcelona don't. Klaus says, international football and club football is not the same. Thank you, Klaus. Not at all. Completely different worlds. So we can't really compare. We can't say, oh, this coach failed with this international team. That means he's going to fail with the club or vice versa, because completely two different worlds. Elias says, hi, Mo, your channel is growing quickly in the last months. Keep up the good work. Guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you, my friend. It actually has been growing a lot in this past few months. It's absolutely nuts. I know, I think in April, I was at 13,000 subscribers. And then now we're talking about July, 3 months later, and we're close to hitting the 60K. So we're talking about like a 40,000 jump in 3 months. And that's nuts. It's freaking insane. And that's not because of me. I'm not doing anything. I'm still doing the same thing every day, screaming at my camera like a crazy guy. It's you guys who subscribe, who like the videos, who comment on the videos, who watch the podcast. So this is all you. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for all the support this channel has gotten. You guys are absolutely amazing. You're by far the best YouTube community. And I'm not just saying that. I literally mean it because, I watch other YouTubers, not in the Barca world or football world. I like different YouTubers. And, you go into the comment sections and you see all these people just like hating on each other and being toxic and insulting each other. And it's like so nasty. But then you look at the comments on my videos and you guys are all like, just discussing football, discussing Barcelona, discussing what you guys love. And even when you guys disagree with each other, it's like, hey, man, like, I disagree with you. This is why. It's not like, oh, you're a fucking idiot and blah, blah, blah. And you guys are amazing. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to drag it any longer, but you guys are amazing. Again, by far the best YouTube community. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to be doing, by the way, I was going to announce this tomorrow, but since we are talking about it, I'm going to be doing a raffle. For those of you who have been around the channel for a while, I do raffles every now and then. But I'm going to be raffling 5 Barcelona jerseys. And this is my way of thanking you guys for being absolutely amazing. I'm going to announce the details pretty soon of how to join the raffle, how it's going to happen, etc. But again, 5 jerseys, 5 Barcelona jerseys I'm going to raffle to 5 lucky winners because you guys deserve that and way, way more. All right, more and more comments, not more news. We're done with the news. Twiza says, hi, Mo. Firstly, your intro. My name is Mo. It's always playing in my mind. Love your work. After this live, I'm going straight to bed. It's 2 a.m. Well, thank you, my friend, for staying up late. Appreciate you a lot. And thank you for your comment. And the Matrix says, we should keep Pablo Torre because De Jong and Pedri will get injured during the season. The problem is Pablo Torre, he's not consistent. Pablo Torre reminds me of a second Ricky Puig. He's creative, he has plenty of skills and talent, but he's lazy. He doesn't help in defensive duties. He doesn't help recover the ball. He's more concerned with partying and extracurricular activities rather than focusing on his career. Hopefully he can change things around. Ricky Puig was never able to change things around. That's how he ended up in MLS. Hopefully Pablo Torre can because, again, I just want Barcelona players to succeed. I'd rather be wrong than be right as long as it means Barcelona players succeeding and the team doing better. All right, let's see. Alex says, hi, Mo. Have you seen the Madrid fans hit on their own national teams just because Lamine Yamal and Nico are the star of the team? I'm not surprised. This is the oldest story in the book. Even back when Spain won the Euros, World Cup and Euros again, 2008, 2010, and 2012, Madrid fans were like angry. They were like, they wished that Spain would lose, which is the dumbest shit ever. It's like, cutting your nose to spite your own face. Because back then, 9 out of the 11 starters were Barcelona players. And to wish your own national team bad just because it has players from your opposing club, that just shows a complete new level of stupidity. But what can we do? Suleiman says, Mo, this is my first time joining your live podcast. I'm Suleiman from the smiling coast of Africa, Gambia. I wish we have a wonderful season this year. Thank you, my friend, for joining for the first time. I hope you can join more often. And shout out to all my brothers in Gambia, in all the African continent. Africa is always present in the house, always. And my man Brad says everyone is saying that no one is making transfer decisions until after the tournaments. Isn't it fair to assume the same for Araujo? Well, yes, it is. But remember, Araujo's tournament is over. They got knocked out at the hands of Colombia. So his tournament is over. The only really teams that are still involved in tournaments are Spain, England, Argentina, and Uruguay. Colombia. Let's see. Sean says, I think Xavi would make a better international coach than a club coach. Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. I love Xavi. Xavi was one of my favorite players growing up. And to see him, fail miserably as a coach was painful. Even though I criticized him a lot in this channel, I didn't do it because, ooh, yay, let me talk shit about Xavi. It hurt. So I really hope so. I really hope he can turn his career around and become as great of a coach as he was of a player because, we all love Xavi. He's one of the greatest midfielders ever. Bojan says, don't be so sure about Barca signing Nico. We had it in the past. If in the last second a club comes up offering him triple the salary than we offer to him, who knows if he changes his mind? Fair point. I think nothing is sure in football. But all the indicators are pointing towards Nico Williams will end up in Barcelona. But you are right. Nothing in football is 100%. Anything could change. Neymar said, I'm staying. And next thing you know, he left to PSG. We all thought Messi was going to stay. His contract was negotiated. All the terms were agreed to. The only thing was missing was his signature. And then La Liga called up Laporta and said, hey, you can't sign Messi. And he ended up leaving. So you are right. Nothing is 100% sure in football. But, all we can do is hope that it is true. The Matrix says, well, we welcome back Pedri next season. Hope we take the time to bulk up and get to play for years, and we will be taking a 22K a day for the time being. I hope so, my friend. I hope so. But anyways, that is all for the podcast. I'm going to be filming a video in a little bit and uploading it. There's more news, believe it or not. There's always more news. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. You guys are absolutely amazing. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.